This cat, Barnaby, was the oldest in the shelter and no one wanted him. Everyone who came to the shelter gave one reason or another why they couldn't adopt him. Soon enough, Barnaby lost all hope that anyone would ever give him a forever home. He became a shadow of his former self. Then one day, a veterinarian walked into the shelter and hugged this cat. 1 minute later, this shocking thing happened. Barnaby didn't always live in a shelter. He once had a family who loved him like he was the only thing that mattered in their world. Barnaby used to live in a big house and he had his own room. His cat mom and dad gave him plenty of food, milk, kisses, and hugs. Just name it, he had it all. Barnaby was just 2 years old when he walked into the couple's front yard. When they found him, they took him in and gave him plenty of food. The next day, Barnaby went back to the garden and the couple fed him once again. This went on for a couple of days before the couple decided to adopt the cat. They showered this cat with a lot of love, care, and attention. Sadly, their love for the kitten didn't stand the test of time. As Barnaby grew older, his parents' love for him grew thinner. Barnaby's skin started thinning and he began to lose weight as he aged. Unfortunately, his cat mom and dad didn't like his new bony physique. When Barnaby turned 20, the couple adopted a young and energetic cat. This new kitten took all their attention and they no longer had time for Barnaby. Besides, Barnaby had a hard time accepting the new kitten, so the two were always at loggerheads. Sadly, Barnaby's parents were impatient and they didn't give the cat adequate time to bond with the new feline addition. They felt he was a thorn in their flesh, so they gave him up and took him to a shelter. This cat has become troublesome, so we decided to bring him here, the couple said. What happened to the love they once had for him? Well, I guess it vanished into thin air. Some people just don't understand unconditional love. The staff at the shelter were worried about Barnaby. They knew how hard it was for older cats to get adopted. However, they hoped that Barnaby's case would be different. A few hours after Barnaby got to the shelter, the staff realized that he was a sweet, patient, and understanding cat. They couldn't understand why anyone would give up on him. Barnaby was laid back and he didn't give the staff a tough time. He was also protective of the other cats in the shelter. A few days later, the staff named the cat Barnaby. The owner of the shelter shared Barnaby's story on their website, hoping someone would come for him. This beautiful soul came here a few days ago because his parents no longer wanted him. Trust me, I have never seen a cat this kind, obedient, and loving. Although he is old, he has a tender heart. Let's give this animal a befitting home. Barnaby needs your support and love more than ever. Many people found Barnaby's story inspiring and they came to the shelter to see him. Sadly, these visits never went beyond checking out what the cat looked like. Many families admitted that Barnaby was a sweet cat, but they didn't adopt him because they preferred a younger cat. Each one of them always had a reason or two why they couldn't take Barnaby home with them. Some said they didn't know how to care for a senior cat, and others claimed they lived in a noisy area and had young children. Days passed by, yet Barnaby's situation remained the same. The staff rolled out more campaigns on their website and social media pages, but deep down, they feared the cat would never find his forever home. A few months later, one couple walked into the shelter, and when they saw Barnaby, they seemed to like him. They spent over an hour with the cat. It was the longest anyone had ever stayed with the feline, so the staff felt the couple loved Barnaby and would take him home with them. Unfortunately, the couple had a private conversation in a corner of the shelter, and no one knows exactly what they discussed, but they told the staff that they would pass on Barnaby and adopt some other cat. Sadly, it now seemed as if Barnaby wouldn't be leaving the shelter anytime soon. As months passed, Barnaby, who used to be energetic and happy, became dull. He stopped playing with the other cats too. Each day, he sat in one corner with his eyes filled with sadness and longing. The following week, Barnaby stopped eating most of his meals. The staff felt he missed the cuddles and kisses he used to get in his previous home. They hoped it wouldn't be too late before Barnaby's savior showed up. Well, luck would soon finally shine on this cat. A veterinarian, Dr. Sheehan, would visit the shelter to treat the animals. Sometimes he also stopped by to greet the staff. One day, he came to the shelter as usual, and it was this visit that changed Barnaby's life forever. That day, the veterinarian brought his wife along to check out some of the cats. The couple had just lost their cat and were looking to open their home to a sweet and loving soul. As soon as the couple set their eyes on Barnaby, their hearts melted. The couple wanted a gentle and loving cat, and Barnaby looked exactly like the kind of animal they were looking for. Besides, he even had "Gentle Soul" written on the tag of his cage. Perfect, the veterinarian's wife cried out. This couple owned a vet center and they felt Barnaby would be a perfect addition to both their vet office and their lives. Dr. Sheehan asked the staff to open Barnaby's cage, and after they did, they had their hearts in their mouths. The staff was worried that Barnaby wouldn't open up to the couple. As far as they were concerned, Barnaby was no longer the happy cat they knew. Well, what happened next shocked everyone. "Come here, my boy," the doctor said, and much to everyone's surprise, Barnaby walked up to his soon-to-be father. Right then, Dr. Sheehan pulled Barnaby in for a warm embrace. It had been so long since Barnaby had such close interaction with a human friend, so I guess it went straight into his heart. A minute after they broke the hug, Barnaby became an entirely different cat. He ran around and meowed loudly. The staff gave him a big bowl of food, and he finished it. He seemed to have come back to life. It was a heart-melting sight, and there were no dry eyes in the shelter that day. Dr. Sheehan told the staff that he would take Barnaby for a trial, and if things worked out well, then he would adopt him as his office cat. Luckily, Barnaby fit in right away. He was more than an office cat, and he gave hope to anyone who came into the office. A few months after Barnaby's arrival at the office, someone dropped a kitten in a card box in front of the office. The cat was so frightened that he gave the staff a tough time as they tried to run tests on him. Luckily for everyone, Barnaby stepped in and saved the day. The senior cat cuddled up to the frightened kitten, and he remained calm until they were done with the tests. Barnaby even sat in the cage with the kitten for a while. "I'm so glad we adopted him. He changed our lives," Dr. Sheehan said. To date, Barnaby spends his days at the office cuddling distraught animals when they are in pain or stressed. He also soothes those who panic whenever they come into the office. The sterile environment and metal bars can be frightening for some visitors. Luckily for them, Barnaby is always around to soothe their nerves. Barnaby also supports his new mom and dad in every possible way. His enthusiasm and friendly nature keep them going. Barnaby often knows when his owners are stressed, and when he senses that, he cuddles them. Dr. Sheehan knows that Barnaby's days in the office are numbered, and he plans to retire his beloved animal when the time is right. But for now, Barnaby is having the time of his life. I wish him the best in his future endeavors. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, then give this video a thumbs up and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on other beautiful stories like this. Also, let me know what you think about Barnaby in the comments section. See you soon.